that hot mess that they air in the mornings called The View had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections. Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is
But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to...
Whoopi Goldberg just hit DEFCON 11 on live TV. And no, it wasn't because of Joy Behar's latest fashion disaster. The real trigger? A tag team verbal takedown from Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly so brutal, even Simon Cowell would have flinched. 1 minute Whoopi was cool and composed, the next she was in full someone hide the furniture mode. So, what exactly did they say to make her lose it? Buckle up, this meltdown was messier than a group chat after a celebrity breakup. Here's the chaos you didn't see coming.
The founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept the View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life.
There she was, America's self-crowned sage of all things virtuous, looking like she'd just skimmed the Yelp reviews of her own personality. Whoopi Goldberg, the reigning queen of eye rolls and daytime drama, was in full meltdown mode. Not the subtle Shakespearean kind, but the soap opera villain just got betrayed by their stylist kind. Enter Charlie Kirk and Megyn Kelly, the unlikely dynamic duo of on-air takedowns, ready to turn the studio into a verbal battleground.
She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space.
Let's rewind, because this meltdown didn't come out of thin air. Seated on her squeaky leather throne over at The View, Whoopi had been on a roll lately, serving up verbal gymnastics that landed more like faceplants. Picture her juggling flaming torches blindfolded while trying to deliver a TED Talk on world history before her first sip of coffee. It was only a matter of time before something went up in flames.
They felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit.
Each episode had become a chaotic roulette wheel of hot takes, off-the-cuff rants, and opinion grenades exploding faster than the producers could cut to commercial. The View wasn't a daytime talk show anymore. It had morphed into a fever dream version of a college debate club hijacked by a Facebook comment thread with a grudge.
Welcome back. In Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me. And it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay.
What started as a show aimed at sparking thoughtful conversation has mutated into a competitive blood sport where nuance is treated like a food allergy. And Whoopi? She's the self-appointed coach, commentator, and referee, tossing out hot takes like she skimmed half an article once and built an entire worldview on it. It's chaos, curated chaos, airing 5 days a week. Naturally, that kind of spectacle caught the attention of America's professional outrage connoisseurs. Enter Charlie Kirk, conservative firebrand and lifelong critic of anything that so much as smells like coastal elitism. With the precision of a heat-seeking missile, he zeroed in on Whoopi's latest on-air derailment and spun it into a multi-platform masterclass in modern-day absurdity.
And there was what do you call it? This Turning Point conference with all the smoke. What are they smoking something down there? Or it's like whatever. Anyway, they were out there. They were in the front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs.
Whoa, the drama. Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, threatened to sue The View. And let me tell you, the nonsense that ensued is real.
For Kirk, this wasn't just a celebrity meltdown. It was a high-definition case study in what happens when glitter-drenched entertainers play pretend as geopolitical strategists. He cast Whoopi and the entire panel as the poster children of Hollywood delusion, floating in a zero-gravity salon of self-importance somewhere above planet Earth. But he didn't just critique. He launched a full-scale ideological demolition. Whoopi's rants were chopped into viral-ready sound bites, each one packaged like a warning label. And the Wrecking Crew? Oh, they were just getting started.
Asked him about that. They asked him about that moment. Watch this, South 36.
When the vice president was here, I asked her if she would have done something differently than your administration over the past 4 years. And because of all the successes that your administration had, I think her response was, there is not a thing that comes to mind. Now, that answer was weaponized against her. And there has been some reporting.
Enter Megyn. Kelly wasn't so much a pundit as a forensic auditor in high heels, armed, with a magnifying glass and a memory like a steel trap. If Kirk was the hammer, she was the scalpel. Precise, methodical, and quietly lethal. No shouting, no theatrics, just cold, surgical dissection. With the calm of a crime scene investigator, she laid out Whoopi's blunders in chronological order, each one more incriminating than the last. By the end, it didn't look like a string of harmless gaffes. It looked like a slow-motion career detour into cultural irrelevance.
A liberal came to speak at University of Kentucky, they'd give an open mic like I just did to a conservative and had a discussion like this.
I certainly hope they would.
No, they wouldn't. Because speech is not a left-wing value. That is why they have to deploy shock troops called Antifa to go after everywhere I go. When I go to University of California, Davis next week, there has to be 120 police officers because of the threats, the violent threats of liberals that want me dead, that want to disrupt our events. There are no right-wing hecklers that come to events like this. I think it's rather clear there's one side that is trying to do everything they can to shut one side up, and one side that's trying to open up the marketplace of ideas. And I think that's...
The result? A full-blown media pileup so gloriously chaotic, even cable. News couldn't peel its eyes away. The internet responded like a toddler let loose in a candy store. Viral clips flying, meme factories firing on all cylinders, and reaction videos layered with slow-mo edits, emotional piano music, and laser eyes. Because nothing screams cultural. Unraveling like cinematic overkill in crisp 4K, but to truly grasp this digital dumpster fire, you've got to understand The View itself. It's part soap opera, part group therapy session with the volume permanently stuck at 11. And strapped to the center like nuanced duct tape is Whoopi, the thunderclap in human form, treating every opinion like it was delivered straight from the mountaintop by the gods of daytime righteousness.
Disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever.
But even high priestesses stumble. After years of ruling the screen with a mix of sharp wit and side-eye supremacy, the tides turned. What once read as commanding now came off as caricature. And when the backlash arrived, it didn't knock. It kicked the door down in steel-toed boots. Charlie and Megyn didn't just clap back at a bad take, they pulled the receipts. Years of sanctimonious monologues, off-Broadway rants, and holier-than-thou hot air got dragged into the spotlight. That's what made the takedown so brutal. It wasn't a critique, it was a rebranding. Whoopi went from fearless truth teller to that relative at Thanksgiving, the one who talks too much, gets the facts wrong, and won't let anyone else finish a sentence. It was a long fall from national treasure status, and the internet had front row seats, popcorn in hand.